Hey guys, it's Danny, and today I am back with another escarole recipe for you guys. Now, if you missed it, I recently shared my Escarole 101, where I also featured a beautiful escarole salad, and I also showed you guys how to make my Italian wedding soup with escarole. So today I'm sharing an Italian classic that I grew up eating, clean and delicious escarole beans. Now, because this recipe cooks up very quickly, I like to prepare all of my ingredients before I head over to the stove. So what I've got here is 6 cloves of chopped up garlic, some red pepper flakes, 1 pound of escarole that I've washed and chopped up. Remember, if you need a reminder on escarole, check out my 101. I've got 1 can of cannellini beans, liquid and all. This is one of the few recipes I don't drain my beans for. 3 cups of low sodium chicken broth, some salt and pepper, and we're gonna use a little olive oil when we get to the stove. So I've got a 3-quart pot heating up over a medium-high heat, and to that I'm adding 1 tablespoon of olive oil, along with my garlic and a pinch of red pepper flakes. I'm gonna give that a little bit of salt as well, just to help get all of that going. Now, once the garlic becomes fragrant, which will not take very long, probably just a couple of minutes, I'm gonna add in my escarole, along with another pinch of salt, some black pepper, and about a 1/4 cup of that broth. Now, FYI, if you wanted to keep this dish vegan or vegetarian, just swap out that chicken broth with a little bit of vegetarian broth. Now from here, I'm gonna pop on a lid, let this cook for about 8 minutes or so, or until that escarole has wilted down a bit. Now, did you know that dark leafy greens are the #1 ingredient missing from the American diet? It is the truth. And while kale gets a lot of praise, and I do love kale, it is not the only road to travel. There's so many different ways to get those greens into our diets, by putting a little spinach into a morning smoothie, maybe taking a handful of Swiss chard and adding it to a can of soup, or getting in the kitchen and whipping up a really simple dish like this escarole beans. The more ways you experiment with them, the more fun it becomes, the easier it is to get them into your diet. So once my escarole has wilted down a bit, I'm just gonna give that a stir. And then the last couple steps here, I'm adding in those cannellini beans with the liquid, because my mom promises me that this is a good way to thicken up the broth and add a little more flavor. And then I'm gonna add in the rest of the chicken stock. Now, I like my escarole beans to be a little bit more on the soupy side, but if you want it to be a little bit drier, just pull back on the amount of broth you use. So you could just play with that a little bit. From here, I'm gonna let it all come up to a simmer, let it go for another 5-10 minutes, and then this dish will be ready to serve. Now, if you guys really wanna take this to the next level, make sure to top it off with a little bit of fresh grated parmesan cheese, and if you like it spicy, a little extra red pepper flake. The cannellini beans are really rich and creamy, and then the escarole is very buttery with a little slight bitter edge. This to me is clean and delicious comfort food at its best. You guys need to give this one a try, and when you do, snap a picture and then tag me on Instagram and on Facebook so I can see what you are up to in your very own clean and delicious kitchen. Now remember, if you want to print the recipe, head on over to cleananddelicious.com, and thank you so much for being here. I'm Danny Spees, and I'll see you next time with some more clean and deliciousness. Cheers! Clean and delicious escarole and beans. That was like way too high. So this recipe cooks up really quickly. Now this recipe, from the top. Now FYI guys, if you wanted to keep this soup, boop,